from beautiful Lake Worth, Texas, Studio A at 1 Biloxi Square. This is the Grandpa-N-Pappy Show, and we welcome everybody aboard for yet another week of a lot of BS going on in our great country.
So in other words, we're not the only two full of BS, huh?
Well, you got that right.
Yeah,
you got that
welcome
right.
Aboard, everybody.
It was a very busy weekend for us. I know it was for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
sat and moaned and whined all weekend. So.
Yeah, Pappy went about 3 rounds with Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
And his ribs are not doing too well today, so... That's what you get for going 3 rounds with Mike Tyson.
That's what I get. That's what I get for drinking with him before I crawled in the ring.
That is true. That is true. And of course the rioting and the looting is still going on in parts of our great country, and
That's crazy.
Some of the riots going on around us in Fort Worth and in South Lake, at least they've been peaceful.
Well, yeah.
And I do appreciate that because
we shoot you in Texas if you pull that stuff on us.
Well, yeah, we try.
Maybe not in Dallas, but everywhere else.
Yeah, well, that's true. Today we got a kind of an interesting topic that stirred a lot of emotion and comments that were made by you guys.
Participation involved in this. Yeah.
The dismantling of police departments.
There you go.
That's what the media was calling it, dismantling.
Well,
but then somebody told them what the definition of dismantling is, and now it's defunding.
Yeah. Well, you have to be politically correct.
Well, dismantle means you eliminate it.
Yeah.
Defunding just means you're taking away their budgets and limiting them on what they can do.
They'll wind up being out in the street riding with the other people, you know. I mean, good Lord.
But am I the only guy here, that thinks this is stupid?
No. I
mean, our comments that we're fixing to share with you that the viewers gave us, they certainly had their own opinions too. Yep. But I'm just telling you, the comments kind of reflected basically what I was thinking about. And I got a email from an Angela C. And Angela C., if you're watching, I know you've got our email address. That's where I got it. And she was saying that we're a couple of old white guys that don't know what we're talking about when it comes to the African-American community.
Well, she got part of it right.
Among other things.
We are a couple of white guys.
Yeah.
Angela C., whoever you are, I mean, you're entitled to your opinion, just as we are, but I can tell you this, everything's fairly well researched. I mean, that and life experiences in itself tells me what I need to know, so whatever, toot your whistle there, Missy.
Well, I wanted to address this before we started the topic because Angela...
She called us racist?
No, she didn't call us actually racist. She hinted around it very strongly. I am not a racist. And I've told you on past programs, Pappy and I both have.
That's right. That
we support the right to get out and peacefully protest against something that is bothering you. We'll stand behind you.
And I don't care what color your skin is.
Oh, it don't matter to me either.
I know more trashy white people than I do any other skin color.
And that's your right.
Yeah.
That's your right. What is not your right is getting out and looting and burning things and destroying things. That is not your right. You go from the category of a peaceful protesting American to being a common criminal like the officers that started this whole thing with the George Floyd death.
Oh, Lord.
So I'm telling you, folks, use what Pappy and I say all the time, those 2 words.
Common sense.
Use your common sense.
It's just not right to destroy somebody else's life over what you believe in. That is Sharia law. I mean, socialism at its finest to me.
Yeah.
Nobody else sees it that way. Hell, unfriend us.
Well, you saw this morning, you were telling me right before we came on the air that Minneapolis had dismantled completely dismantled their
that's
police
what
department.
I read. Now, Angela said I didn't get it. I didn't have enough time this morning to research that, see how true it was, but I've seen it in several posts. I was going to Google it, but got tied up and couldn't finish what I'd started. So, but that's out there.
The latest that I saw on that was that the city council had voted to dismantle the police department, but the mayor was giving them all kinds of problems about not doing it. So evidently they used an override.
Well, they need
to override the mayor, and he was not wanting to do this.
And just like bad cops, there's some out there. Not all of them are that way.
No, heck no.
I mean, it's a very small percentage. Just like there's bad rioters out there, bad donkey trainers, whatever. I mean,
bad beer drinkers too.
Yeah. Oh no, all beer drinkers are pretty good.
It depends on what face they make. The bitter beer face,
Yeah. But I mean, they're out there, and it's been that way since time.
That's true.
My time, anyway. I've known it. I was raised by a city cop in Lubbock, and the only time I ever saw him bring any physical harm to anybody is when they pushed him, pulled a knife, or acted a fool.
Mm-hmm.
And in my opinion, you act a fool, you're breaking the law. You stand a chance of getting a knot slapped on your head,
Well, we just wanted to
been the American way since I've known it, So
we wanted to address that, Angela C.
Yeah.
And let you know that no, we're not a couple of old white guys that don't know what we're talking about as far as the African American community is concerned. Yes, we do.
Yeah.
So we wanted to address that and give you our opinion since you gave us your opinion. And we told you folks, good or bad, we're going to read them right here, but we reserve the right to give our opinion too.
Well, it's the premises and basis of our show. It's based off of your opinions, your comments, and your feelings. And it seems to be working out pretty good for everybody but you so far, Angela. But, I mean, we respect your opinion.
Well, I don't think...
We don't have to agree with it, but we respect it.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't think that she's not agreeing with what the premise of the show is, because she did write in and we did read it. So, Angela, there you go. You've had your 5 minutes of fame.
There you go.
I would give you 15, but show ain't that long. So, anyway, let's get to our comments today. Of course, the dismantling or disfunding of or defunding of police departments in our major cities.
Yeah.
And let's get right to them, because we had some very short comments, and then we had some that really elaborated, and we're going to tell you about each and every one of them. And then after that, we have a special program coming up Wednesday that Pappy and I are going to be talking about.
Oh, yeah.
And we're looking forward to that. We really are. Christy Hare Pollard, Pappy, said an emphatic no to the dismantling or defunding of police departments.
And Juliana Thixton Paravi?
Payravi, I believe that's how she says it. Yeah.
Payravi.
Forgive us.
Says it's idiotic. Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah. James Gordon Wolfe said it's a real bad idea.
David Watson says it's insane in the membrane.
Now, I want all of you to listen to these comments, because it has a common thread on what their opinion is or comment is on this topic.
Yeah.
Philip Charles Day said to dismantle their asses.
By God. That deserves a by God there, Philip. Thanks for sending that in. Diana Concannon up in Tennessee said, in loosely translated terms, really? What the hell?
I like that, Diana. Good job.
Yeah, she's a character.
Twyla Richards said, I didn't know I would be alive to watch the breakdown in society that has ravished our nation. But we will ride high again. Yeah. But when all of us boomers, us included, Pat, and our elders that we hold in great respect because we were taught respect are gone, I wouldn't want to be here.
Oh, Lord, no. And that's what concerns me about my kids, my
and grandkids,
and my grandbaby.
Yeah.
I mean, what kind of crap is she going to grow up in?
Good Lord of mercy.
Down in Rockport, Texas, Christina Marie Cornstubble said she is not in favor of it. Simply put, give a mouse a cookie and he's going to ask for milk and so on and so forth.
I love that analogy.
Good. That's pretty good.
I love that analogy.
Defund the police, and when they need them, the police don't help. They don't want them there anyway. I say be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it in spades.
Mm-hmm.
Is that also
racist? No,
being known as trumped?
Trumped, yeah. Yay, there you go. Al Baker said the very idea of defunding law enforcement just goes to show you the intelligence of those calling for it and those cities who are considering it. No cops, no law. The action of those officers in Minnesota do not reflect the honor and integrity of 98% of law enforcement officers. They know the public is out to get them, yet they show up every day to protect law-abiding citizens of all colors. There's the key. Mm-hmm. It will eventually result in those law-abiding citizens protecting their homes and families, and the body counts will be astronomical. I guess then the Democrats will be screaming for our guns.
Well,
as if they are not now.
They've been screaming for them, yeah. Brandon Cummings says he is glad he is well armed. Without law, only the strong will survive.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's true.
Well, and if it came down
What's the old saying, Pappy? If you take away guns from law-abiding citizens, only the criminals will have guns.
Got it on a T-shirt.
I bet you do.
Amongst other things.
This man has got to have more T-shirts than any human being I have ever met in my entire life.
Hey, I love my T-shirts.
I don't know where you store them. That's
in the closet. I do have to go through them because I've ordered some more.
Holy crap.
Helen told me.
Let's see.
Brandon Cummings says he's, where are we? Sabrina Monk.
Yeah.
Brummett.
It's I added Y for some reason.
Why did you put a Y on there?
I have no clue.
His bad, Sabrina. Anyway, she said it's just idiotic.
Mm-hmm. Chris Schomburg called it ridiculous.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous when you stop and think about it. It really is. I mean, come on.
Where in the hell we headed? Bob Baker said, I bet what they have in mind is going to shock us all. Yeah. Well said, Bob.
You know, that may be a very strong statement that comes true.
Yeah, there's a lot to this statement.
James Graham added a little humor. He said, if that happens, free TVs for all.
I could use a big screen outside the old tin domain there in Whiskey Flats. Tony Haha said, "Dear Lord, come soon."
Yeah. Is that Tony or Tony? It's spelt
I think
Tony Haha.
Well, it doesn't have a long mark over the O, so it might be Tony Haha. Tony Haha.
Well, forgive us if we mispronounce your name. Forgive
us. Let us know how you pronounce that.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Big Matt Bannister says, well, this is an interesting topic. First off, police departments should not disappear altogether ever. However, how much you could potentially dismantle, as you call it, really reducing funding is possible, but not dismantle. How much actually depends on where you are. For example, Texas spends a fraction of the money on police that places like California, New York, or Illinois, and we are able to do that because we actually believe in the Second Amendment.
Hell yeah,
this allows for self-policing to some degree. However, in California, they have all but outlawed guns there, and because of this, if they start defunding police departments, crime rates will increase.
Because like you had mentioned before, only the criminals will have guns.
Yeah. So you see, the question is more about Second Amendment than it is the police. Damn, that's deep.
That's another by God statement right there. Well said, Matt. We appreciate you sending it in.
That's deep.
Yeah. Oh, Matthew, get deep on you.
He
now.
can. Yeah.
Gary Allen Vaughn said, God bless Texas to Matt Bannister's previous statement.
Yeah. Mr. Robert Wyman says, as always, punish everyone for the actions of a few.
Yep.
And that's about the way it is.
Yep. Well said. Billy Brown said, think about it like this from an experimental point of view. Dismantle police for 1 month, let the inner city feast on itself, and then at the end of the month, clean out what is left. If that ain't a Peckerwood statement, by God, I don't know what it is. But I can see the sense in that, but I don't think it'd quite work out that way, big boy.
I intentionally saved this last one to be the last part of the comments that we have received because of what it says. Now, I want you to listen very carefully, okay? Mm-hmm. Very carefully. Alex, the real deal McCoy, said it's simple. If you're vocally abusing, physically assaulting, or shooting at a police officer, you will get your ass shot off, and deservedly so.
Yep.
Police officers are human beings too, and all of us have our breaking points and lose our tempers when pushed to the brink enough times by some idiot or idiots. At 72 years of age, I have known or been stopped by many police officers, and each time I was treated with courtesy and respect because I gave the respect to them. Oh, did I mention I'm an African American?
Which really doesn't have anything to do with what's going on. Well, it does, but I mean morally, no, it don't. But that is a very strong point, real deal. It really is, and I appreciate your perspective on it. I do.
I really do too. I mean, here again, I mean, people in the African American community, and we love you guys. I mean, we're all human beings here together. We're all brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
And Pappy and I, on numerous occasions, have taken a stand with you on different items. Yeah. We're no different from you are, from who you are, as opposed to who we are. I mean, we live in the same world, Pappy.
Well, it's just like I was telling you the other day. I was raised by a man that grew up in Hamburg, Arkansas, back in the day, to where there was a difference. I mean, you're brainwashed. I mean, face it, raising a child is a brainwashing technique. You try to raise that child up.
That is a very good point.
To have the moral fiber and beliefs that you have, are the ones that you lacked when you were being raised.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what good parenting is all about. And I don't give a rat's ass if you're black, green, or pink, or yellow, or white, or whatever color. You are what you're raised to be. You know, I mean, we have gone through this so many times.
We have.
We grew up, both of us grew up, we had black friends.
Yeah.
You know?
Some of my best friends were African American.
And some of mine
and still are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and I won't use the word, but the N-word, just like Pop told me, comes in all colors. And he told me, hear me out, boy. I know more white ones than I do black ones. And that has stayed with me my entire life.
The advice of our parents.
Yeah.
But you are absolutely correct. I'm going to give you kudos on that one. You hit it right on the head. It's the brainwashing of children.
Yeah.
Now, what you want to do as a parent is to raise them to be good, productive adults to carry on.
Well,
you know. But if you're telling them that one race is against another race
that's right.
all the time, what are they going to believe?
That's what they're going to grow up believing, and more than likely is what they're going to teach their children, unless they actually pull their bootstraps up and see the difference. I mean, it's crazy.
It is crazy.
It's crazy.
And man, you know, we could go on and on and on about this, folks, but I'm just telling you, Pappy has used it so many times, and so have I. Those two little words, common sense. That's exactly. Use your common sense. Yeah. If you're gonna give a police officer a hard time, he's eventually going to say, heck with it, and retaliate. And I'm hoping that as a result of all of this protest and riots, Pappy, that they do an internal inspection of all police departments across the United States.
They should.
And look at how their procedures are at handling things.
Well, you put a badge on somebody with authoritative power and strap a gun to them, they need to be trained right. They need to, and so many, I know a little about law enforcement, and the majority of everybody I knew did not have a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah.
But you got to stop and think, okay, prime example, a city cop. He deals with a bunch of assholes day in and day out.
That's correct.
That affects his home life. It affects his judgmental state when he pulls somebody out. Because he walks up that window, he don't know what he's walking up to. It might be one of you idiots out there with a gun that says, screw all cops, shoot at him, start shooting at him.
Yeah.
That'd be enough to...
Like the incident in California last week.
Exactly. And that goes on, and it's been
every day. Seems like.
Yeah, if you're running from the law, and you think, well, what I got to lose? I ain't going back to prison.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we just hope and pray you folks will use your common sense. That's all we pray for. And dismantling or defunding of police departments are just absolutely stupid.
It's ludicrous. It is.
And that's what I'll leave it with.
Stop and think about it. What the hell kind of... They've got a full police department in Chicago, and look what happened there over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
What was it, 129 shootings, 19 fatal?
Yeah.
That's nuts. That's just nuts.
Let's take a look, Pappy, at our...
But guns are illegal in Chicago.
Well, yeah, and it's so. There's a great point there. We got some good viewer comments on past shows. Robert Smith liked our show on social media. He said there are a number of us that have had our post taken down by Facebook, and it wasn't even for using foul language, but for expressing our views or opinions that are different from theirs. He said for us to keep giving people a forum, talking about you and I, giving us a forum to voice their opinions, and that's exactly what this show is all about.
Absolutely. Well said, Robert. We appreciate you sending
Absolutely. Good job.
Jim Richardson commented on our Secrets to a Successful Marriage show. He says, men, get compliant and do it quick or prepare for war with her and her mother. Oh, boy, that I could make a 12-part series on this one. And you know that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, I can.
Yep.
Billy Thomas said our show about writing was spot on. He said the comments from our viewers express the opinion of probably 98% of Americans. The looting and burning and destruction have got to stop, and government officials should have the balls to say enough is enough and turn loose the cavalry.
And I agree with everything that Billy said, but 98%, that's a pretty stout number, brother. Maybe 98% of one side of the platform.
Well, 98% of all law-abiding Americans.
Well,
no matter what party you're in.
There's some law-abiding Dems, but they've got a different stance on the way things need to be handled than we do. So
yeah, that's true.
So, but I understand what you're saying. That was a pretty good statement. Paul Tannenbaum said if he could rid the world of one thing, it'd be an ignorant asshole. He says he can't stand them, and they can't see the truth that stares them right in the face every day.
That's probably about the truth,
Yeah, I've been guilty of that, but that was in high school.
Peter Reeves said our show on Facebook Follies was funny. He said, I laughed along with y'all because I remember seeing a lot of those on Facebook myself. Keep it up, fellas.
Yeah, thank you, Peter. James Robert Peters said the show on writing was depressing but true. He says he's embarrassed by the actions of people destroying and white people getting on their knees apologizing for being white. Amen. He says that will be the day for him.
That'll be the day. Or John Wayne used to say in The Searchers, that'll be the day.
Yeah, by God.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I bow down to for the reason and the cause and for whom I believe in.
I bow down to one person. That's the good Lord above.
Yep.
Yep. We have a great show coming up Wednesday. I'm going to ask Special K if she can get that music for us here in just a second. What?
I hear crickets again.
Yes, I hear crickets again. Well, I was going to feature a little bit of music from our guest on Wednesday, but I guess I did not get it in time because we were extremely busy over the weekend.
Yeah, it's been a crazy week for us.
It has, and our special guest, let's talk about that a little bit. Thomas Gabriel, who is the grandson, the oldest grandson.
Firstborn grandchild.
Of country music icon Johnny Cash.
Hello, Johnny Cash.
Is going to be with us, and you've heard me and Pappy talk about in the last few shows.
What a nice guy. He just a cool guy.
Great guy, just a country boy just like all of us. Yeah. And he's down to earth. He's been through a lot. He, as you commonly and fondly like to say, Pappy, pulled himself up by the bootstraps and straightened out his life.
You know, did you watch that interview of there's another podcast show called The Holler?
Yes, I did.
A young lady.
Yes, I did.
I didn't know he was an ex-cop.
I didn't either.
Should I go from ex-cop to ex-con to pulling myself up out of the gutter? And, I mean, God bless you for that, man. Engaged to a beautiful, beautiful Sarah Jo, little fire engine red-headed gal up in Tennessee, and
who is a heck of a singer and musician herself.
Yeah, and that'd probably be one of the questions I ask him. How'd you guys meet? But they were getting married, going to Ireland and getting married. They was wanting to do it last time I was over there, and then COVID happened and blah 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 blah. You know, so they had to come home. But
well, we'll ask him about that Wednesday. But he's
a great guy.
He's going to be on our show live from Hendersonville, Tennessee, and that's Wednesday, and we'll be featuring his latest song, his music video, "This Side of the Dirt."
Oh, powerful song.
Very powerful, and it kind of talks about his life too.
Might even have to get him and his lovely better half, Sarah Jo, to do that duet I watched in an interview, singing one of his Grandpa-N-Pappy songs. Like in his final days.
Yeah, I understand.
God, he had some powerful music back then.
Man, and I tell you what, once you listen to Thomas Gabriel and you close your eyes, it will put a chill down your back. Good Lord of mercy.
Sounds so much like his Grandpappy, it's unreal, you know. And Johnny used to be, and I remember, and if I'm not mistaken, I need to ask him about this too. I was at the old Ryman Auditorium in Nashville, and had the pleasure of seeing Mr. Cash live. Was on vacation, buzzing down through. It's like a family thing. We all went to the Ryman Auditorium. Roy Clark, a bunch of people were there. And if I'm not mistaken, he drug little Thomas, who was about this tall, up on stage with him. and the reason I was thinking about it, because I noticed in his bio that it had mentioned in one of his TV shows that he had his grandson first appeared on television, who was Thomas. And they were singing spiritual music, like Jesus Loves Me or something, like that. Saints Go Marching In or something. But that seems very familiar to me. But you know, this was 100 years ago when that happened.
I heard that.
I was a youngster myself, but I was impressed with it. You know?
And he's going to be on our Wednesday show, and we hope you'll join us for that. Yeah. That's going to be a great one on Friday.
Absolutely.
Excuse me. On Friday, we have Texas broadcast legend Hoss Huggins, who just got elected into the Texas Broadcasters Hall of Fame last year. And boy, he has got some stories to share. And he told me one on the phone the other day about him and Johnny Cash.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's got a story, and I'll ask him to tell it again.
I might have to patch him in with our show with Thomas, because he loves talking about his Grandpappy.
Yeah, I understand.
He's from the infamous Hoss and Hardy show.
Yeah, in Tyler, and he is he's an old boy from Paris, Texas. That's where I first started my radio career. Yeah. He worked at that radio station, as did Dwayne Allen of the Oak Ridge Boys, who is one of his favorite guys and best friends.
Yeah,
So we hope
I
you'll.
noticed the pictures.
Yeah. So if you want to send us a comment or a suggestion on our show on anything we've done or anything we've said, just simply send it to our email address at Grandpa-N-Pappy at gmail.com.
Or you can hit us up directly on our website, the Grandpa-N-Pappy website at grandpa-n-pappy.com. Even if you disagree or think we're two old farts who don't know what we're talking about because you have a different color skin or something, feel free to hit us up with that. We just love talking about that.
No offense, Angela.
That's right. Well,
we enjoyed it. It's been a good show. We appreciate all of your comments as usual. One quick thing before we close. We're starting to get in some Father's Day pictures that we're going to be putting together for next Friday's show before Father's Day. We can only allow 37 pictures. So we ask you to send us a picture of your father, what his name is, and a little bit something about him so we can talk about him here on the Grandpa-N-Pappy show. And, of course, Special K will be putting a beautiful montage together to end that show.
Better wash my hanky. Better wash my snot rag.
Good show, brother.
And another one.
It was good.
Bro. And we'd like to thank our sponsor, M&L Distributors out in West Texas.
Yeah. Circulo Tequila.
Circulo.
If you haven't tasted that yet, friends, and you're a tequila drinker, drink it. It's good. It is good. And if your spirit store don't have it, ask them to call M&L Distributing in Odessa, Texas.
Ask for Lucy or Marco and tell them that you heard it on Grandpa-N-Pappy.
Absolutely.
Maybe I'll get a free jug of tequila.
We'll see you back on Wednesday with a special show with Thomas Gabriel. Until then, folks, have yourself a great day. Be safe. Use common sense. Take care of your family. And God bless.
Thanks for coming along. Later.
Bye-bye.